Hey and welcome. A friend of mine just recently gave me some Granny Smith apples, and she had too many to use, so she shared them with me. And in my refrigerator, I had a couple of rolls of Pillsbury mini Cinny sticks. So today we're going to make an apple pie cinnamon roll breakfast bake, and let's do it. It's going to be yummy. And it could be dessert too, or breakfast. I peeled our apples and put them in some lemon water to keep them fresh and season them up, lemoniness. And now we're gonna cut them into slices, core them and cut them. This is the way I used to like to cut up my apples. Take out the stem, cut them in quarters. Cut the cores out. These are a little wet. And then cut them into strips. Like that. And we're going to continue on till we get all our apples cut up. Our apples are all cored up and sliced up. And now we're going to turn them into an apple pie mixture. And that's going to involve making some sauce. We're going to start by melting some butter in a saucepan. This is 8 tablespoons because that's a lot of apples. Our butter is now melted. And we're going to add about 3 tablespoons of flour. We're going to whisk it together, stirring constantly until the flour and the butter have formed a roux. We have reached a bubbly point. It's not really a thick roux, but we're going to have a couple more ingredients. The first one that's going in is about a 1/4 cup of water, followed by a cup of granulated sugar. Oh, thicky thick. Cook this, stir constantly for just a few minutes. And it's going to turn into our apple pie sauce when we add it to our apples. While our super sweet, buttery sauce cools down, we're going to toss the apples with some cinnamon sugar, but I don't think it's going to be enough. But let's try it, and we can add some more if it isn't enough. I think I was right. I think we need to make a little more. Made a little more, and it's going in. And this should be plenty. Here's our cinnamon coated apples. Now here comes our sauce. Coat our cinnamon coated apples with this sauce. We have our apple pie filling all made. And now we're going to build our apple pie cinnamon roll breakfast bake. I'm preheating the oven to 350 degrees. And the first thing I'm going to do is spray a baking dish with some nonstick cooking spray. Add a layer of apples and sauce, our apple pie filling. You want to make sure it is in an even layer all the way out to the edges. And that looks pretty tasty. Next step coming up. The next thing that's going on is a rolled out layer of our mini Cine Rolls dough, and I'll show you when we do the next one how I did that. I never bought these cinnamon rolls before, so I didn't really know what to do, but it's gonna work. I'm gonna pinch up the sides a little bit. Looking good. Now comes another layer of apples. Apple pie filling. See how it goes, and we're building up. This is how we formed up our first roll of mini Cine Rolls. And as you may know or not, comes with some cinnamon icing. So I'm going to put that in the refrigerator until we're finished. This is what our dough looks like when it's opened up. And what I did with the last roll was start pinching the sections that want these sections together. Overlap and pinch, and then do the little strips. Okay, now we're going to flip it over and do the other side. Same process for this side too. Now we're going to cover it with our other sheet of plastic wrap. Press it out, form it up so it fits in the pan. And then we're going to move on to the next step. The time has come to flip our second layer of dough over on top of our second layer of apples. Straighten it out, make it fit. And now we're going to top it off with another layer of apples. Here they come. This will be a little bit of a lighter layer. Before we bake our apple pie cinnamon roll breakfast bake, we're going to make a little streusel topping. I'm going to start with about 1/4 cup of flour, 1/4 cup of brown sugar, a sprinkle of cinnamon, about 1/4 to 1/2 teaspoon, depending on how much you like. We're going to mix these together. Now it's time for a couple of tablespoons of cold butter. Let's see how we do. Incorporate the flour and the sugar into the butter until it's crumbly. Streusel topping is ready. I wish I had one of those pastry cutters. I used to, but I don't anymore. But that's looking good. Okay, we're going to sprinkle it on top and bake up our apple pie cinnamon roll breakfast bake. Going to sprinkle our streusel on. This will melt when it's baking, so it'll spread out a little bit. This kind of turns it into a Dutch apple pie. But that was a good amount of streusel. We are now ready to go in the oven, probably 20 minutes or so, and let's see how it goes. I wanted to see how the breakfast bake was going, and when I opened the oven prematurely, I noticed the sides were getting a little bit brown. So what I'm going to do is temper it with a little foil and keep cooking it till it's cooked all the way through the middle. Our apple pie cinnamon roll breakfast bake is out of the oven, nicely browned and smelling so delicious. Gotta let it rest a little while before we serve it. And there's one more step we're gonna take. We're gonna take these 2 cups of cinnamon icing and we're gonna microwave it until it's soft and drizzleable. We're going to start with 30 seconds and see how it turns out. 30 seconds worked. It's nicely melted. And now we're going to drizzle our breakfast bake with the icing. Let it rest, and then we're going to serve it up. Here's our apple pie cinnamon roll breakfast bake. It's kind of messy. It's definitely not something you can pick up and eat, but we're going to take a bite and see how yummy it is, because I bet it's going to. Thank you for joining me while I played with my apple gift and my on-hand mini cine rolls. And this is our breakfast bake. And now we're going to take a bite and see how it is. Here we are on our fork, and in we go. I want to say that was a really good idea to use up those apples, and so yummy. And it's going to be a fattening breakfast, but maybe I'll just share it with some people who would like to enjoy it. And we'll see you again. Oh, and by the way, if you decide to serve it for dessert, warm it up a little bit and top it off with some vanilla ice cream. That would make it so good. Bye-bye. Have a good one.